Hi everyone, how's life, and welcome to another one of my videos. Welcome to Paris, or the Renaissance Paris Republique Hotel to be more precise. Beautiful room. I am gonna hopefully give you a bit of a room tour as this vlog goes on, but this video is mainly going to be me answering your questions because I haven't done a Q&A in a long time and I thought, why not? So if you have a queue, and if you have queued me, your queues, I know that sounds very weird, but if you have sent a question on Instagram, then maybe I'll answer them in this video. I had loads, so we'll see, but hopefully it should be quite a fun little chill video. Before we start the Q&A, I just thought I'd show you the view that I currently have from the bed that I'm on here at the Renaissance Hotel, and also look at that view as well. It's currently about 7:20 p.m. And yeah, it's still very much light. That's one thing I love about Paris, because in the summer months especially, it doesn't normally get dark until around 10:30 p.m. even sometimes, which is great. I love it. Summertime is just so nice. You know, let me know in the comments down below before we even start this Q&A, but I don't know, there's something about, you know, it being lighter longer that makes me so much happier than in the winter months when we only have like, what, 4 or 5 hours of light. But with that being said, firstly, thank you so much to those of you who did send in questions. It was literally like a last minute decision, but I thought it has been a while, so why not answer some questions? It gives me something to do as well whilst I spend one night in Paris. But by the way, if you want to sometimes participate in these Q&As that I sometimes tend to do, then follow me on Instagram. The link is always down below. It's just Sam for God. But yeah, we have loads and loads of queues. As you can see, I'm definitely not going to be able to reply to all of them, but I'm going to try my best. I'm going to start with a question from Mariella Eleni. I hope I pronounced that right. They ask, what do you think is the best way to travel from London to DLP cost effective? Now, this very much depends on how close you are and how easy it is for you to get to St. Pancras station in London, because as you guys know, for the most part, in fact 99.999% of my trips to Disneyland Paris are done by the Eurostar. It's just the quickest, easiest, and also, in my opinion, the most cost-effective way to travel from London to Disneyland Paris. But as I said, that depends on how easy it is for you to get to St. Pancras station. So as long as it's not too difficult for you to get to St. Pancras station, then absolutely, I do genuinely think that the Eurostar is not only the easiest way, it's also the most environmentally friendly that I can think of, and also the most cost effective. And I'll tell you why, because you don't have to take the Eurostar from St. Pancras station straight to Disneyland Paris. I mean, you can't really do that anyway anymore because they've stopped the direct route. However, even with the direct route gone now, a lot of people have now switched to the Lille route, and I do have videos of that as well. The Lille route used to be quite cost effective, but I think because the direct route has now stopped, the Lille route, which is basically where you take the train from London St. Pancras and you change at Lille, that's where the Eurostar part of your journey ends, and then you'll take a TGV train from Lille to Marne-la-Vallée, which is where Disneyland Paris is. Like I said, I do have a video on that if you want to check it out, and sometimes you can find some good deals for that. But the most cost-effective way to use the Eurostar is to use the journey from London St. Pancras station to Paris Gare du Nord. And that's what I do about 95% of the time. I sometimes take the Lille route, and obviously when the direct train used to be around, I might take the direct train like once a year, if that. But for the most part, I tend to stick with the Paris route because not only is it the cheapest route, it's also the most flexible, which means that you don't have to stick to just one train per day, especially if that one gets cancelled. They normally tend to have quite a few different trains per day, both from London to Paris and back from Paris Gare du Nord to London. And something that a lot of people don't realise is that you can actually get tickets as cheap as £39 per journey from London St. Pancras station to Paris Gare du Nord. And that's what I normally tend to do, as long as you're, you know, wise about it, as long as you constantly look, as long as you're also flexible. And that's something that I'm aware that I have a privilege of, because I'm flexible with my travels. I don't feel like I need to go on a particular day, or that I'm only limited to school holidays when things tend to be obviously generally more expensive. I can more or less go whenever. So what I tend to do with my travels to Disneyland Paris is to just look and see when the cheapest time is to go. Also with the Eurostar, I really don't mind what time I go. Generally speaking, the ones that are very, very early in the morning, so like there's one at around 5 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. from London St. Pancras to Paris, that is normally very, very cheap. They sometimes have some in the afternoon that are also cheap. So as long as you're not going during like rush hour times, and as long as you book in advance or just keep looking, then you should be able to get tickets that are £39 each. So that's £39 for a one-way journey from London to Paris. If you're booking the whole thing as a round trip from London to Paris and then back from Paris to London, it'll cost you around £80, which is cheaper than trains that I've taken to areas of the UK. Like literally, if few weeks ago, I took a train from London's Euston to Liverpool to see my friend who lives there. And that one cost more than any of my trains from London to Disneyland Paris. So like I said, in my opinion, it's the most cost effective. Don't get me wrong, it's still not cheap. And obviously if you have to book a number of tickets rather than just for yourself, if you're a big family, then it does add up still. But overall, if you live in London, I feel like it's definitely the most cost-effective way to come to Disneyland Paris, in my opinion. And honestly, it's not too difficult to get the underground, the RER from Paris to Disneyland Paris, because you do have to do that as well. It's not very expensive, probably about €10 for a round trip journey. And I do have a video on that as well if you want to check it out. The next question is by Satina Hall, and they've asked, is it a goal of yours to work at Disney one day? And I think this one's quite an interesting one, because when I read this question last night, straight away I was like, no, I knew the answer straight away. It was very easy for me. But I think up until maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I would have thought, yeah, maybe I would quite like to work for Disney one day. But no, it's not my dream or my goal or anything at the moment. And it's not to say that I don't ever want to work for Disney. Like, if an opportunity arises at one point, sure. I'm not like close to it. But it's also not this like desperate dream that I have, like, oh, I need to work for Disney. Not at all. I think I went through a short period of my life for a few years where I thought that that's definitely what I want to do and that's the end goal. But quickly I realized that I actually don't. There's so many more things that I want to do in life that don't require me working for Disney directly. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that I get to do YouTube videos that involve Disney, but you know, I'm not actually working for Disney, I think is amazing. Matthias Zob Official has asked, around how many countries have you been to? Now, Matthias, I did actually check last night when I got your question, because I didn't know. So I did, you know, write them all down, and hopefully I haven't missed any out. Altogether, I've been to 21 countries. There's my list. In case you are curious, I don't know if you can even see it or not, but the majority of them are countries in Europe, to be fair. A couple in the Middle East. I've been to Asia once, and that was China. Well, actually Hong Kong as well. So mainland China and Hong Kong. And then I've been to the US a few times. So that's about it. There's continents that I haven't been to yet, like, oh, actually, no, I have been to Morocco as well. So technically I've been to Africa too, but a very small part of Africa. But yeah, I would like to travel to Africa a bit more. I'd love to visit Asia a bit more and see a few more countries there. Same with the Middle East. I've never been to Australia, but it's not like a dream of mine to go, to be fair. But yeah, 21 countries. I don't think that's too bad. Hopefully it will turn to 22 very, very soon. Lauren Tilbury, hi Lauren. She's asked least favorite Disney and Pixar films. And I think that's quite an interesting question. And it's made me think quite a bit. And I still don't know if I've definitely got an answer. With Pixar, I think it's easier because there aren't quite as many Pixar films as there are Disney films. And it's not that I like hate any Pixar films, but of all the ones that I've seen, and I have seen all of them, the ones that I can't really remember are like Cars 2 and Cars 3. I don't really have much of a memory of them, so I don't feel like I can, you know, justifiably comment on those. But yeah, I think one film that comes to mind, Pixar film, that I don't really like, or I don't think I like, is actually WALL-E, which I know most of you are probably like shouting at your screens right now, because I know it's a very popular film. It obviously came out quite a long time ago, and I've only ever seen it that one time when it was first released. Me and a friend went to the cinema to watch it, and I just remember being so bored, like just really bored. And I do understand that a lot of WALL-E is about just like, you know, there's no dialogue for the majority of it. Spoiler if you haven't watched it. A lot of it is just visuals, and the visuals are impressive. But I don't know, maybe it was the age that I watched it, because it was quite a long time ago now, probably about 20 years ago. I don't know, when did WALL-E come out? It was a long time ago, I can tell you that. So I don't know, maybe I need to watch WALL-E again to see if my opinion has changed on it. Recently though, like more recently with some Pixar films that I haven't liked, Onward. I remember watching that, honestly, just a few weeks before all the lockdowns happened in the UK, because I think that's around the time that it came out. And it's actually the last film that I got to watch in the cinema before lockdown happened. But yeah, I thought Onward was a disappointment. I didn't hate it, again, I just thought it was a very meh film. And then Lightyear, I saw Lightyear last year in the cinema again. Thought it was very boring, very predictable, nothing original about it. Like, it was cool, I enjoyed the idea behind it, you know, about Buzz and the, you know, toy that Andy loves being based on this real astronaut. There was elements about it that I quite liked, but yeah, I was bored. I didn't think it was a good film, personally. And then also Luca, like, again, I'm probably going to get a bit of hate for this one, but Luca, when it came out a couple of years ago now, I tried to watch it twice, one time on my own and then one time with my cousin, and both times I gave up about halfway through. Like, there was nothing inspiring about it to make me want to continue watching. I felt that it was boring. It was beautiful, it was colourful, but I didn't really connect with the characters. I don't know. With Luca, let me know in the comments down below, is it something that I need to force myself to just finish? Because I haven't finished it. I've technically only watched the first half of it. So maybe that's why. Maybe the character development becomes better in the second part of the film. If we're going by which film I haven't even bothered to finish, then Luca, I guess, is my least favourite Pixar film. With Disney, it's a lot more difficult. I don't think I can give an answer at all with Disney. I know that there's a lot of the films from the, olden years, like the kind of obscure ones like Melody Time or Make My Music, things like that I don't particularly love. Like, I've watched them and I really don't hate them either, so don't get me wrong, it's not like I hate those films, but I don't really like them. It's not like I get excited by them or I watch them often. Same with, like, there was an era after the Renaissance era of Disney where some weird films came out by Disney. I mean, not weird as in, like, there were still pretty decent films, but compared to some of the previous ones, like the 90s decade, they just weren't quite as good, like Chicken Little and what else do we have from there at that time? I don't know, there's a few from that. Meet the Robinsons. Again, it's not to say that I don't like those, but I've only ever watched each of those films once and then kind of not bothered to go back to them. So I guess technically they're some of my least favourite films when it comes to Disney and Pixar. I would love to hear your thoughts on this though, so please leave a comment down below and let me know what your least favourite Disney and Pixar films are. There's a question here by Reese M2008 and they've asked, what made you start YouTube? And I feel like I've touched on this a few times throughout my videos over the past decade and a bit that I've been making these videos, but really it was just out of boredom. I think I just wanted a place to be able to, I guess, talk to. I don't really know. Like, back when I started YouTube was a very weird thing. I never told anybody that I made videos. It was very much just my own secret thing that I like doing. I obviously didn't do it consistently. I would just film a video whenever I felt like it. Those videos are still up, by the way, if you want to check them out. Don't. They're very embarrassing. But I started watching YouTube very early on. I think 2007 was when I first even discovered YouTube. Some of the first YouTubers that I watched back then, Charlie So Cool, really enjoyed their channel, and there were loads of those early vloggers that I just became fascinated by. And because also, bear in mind, English is not my first language, I also have not always lived in England, I was quite fascinated by what life is like for English people. So I kind of discovered all these British vloggers, I suppose, and I just loved watching them. I found them funny, a lot of them, it was interesting. Back then YouTube videos were very short as well. It's interesting how YouTube has evolved over the past decade and a bit. But yeah, because I watched a lot of YouTube myself, after a few years I decided to start posting as well. And like I said, I never really advertised them. I think when I was at university, after some time, I finally mentioned it to a couple of my close friends and they found out about it and they were nice about it. It's just YouTube was such a strange, bizarre thing. People wouldn't understand if you just told them, oh, I make YouTube videos. They'd be like, why? It wasn't as I guess a common thing as people do and know about these days. So yeah, that's how I started, and for many years it was just an outlet for me, a way for me to express myself, talk about things that I loved. I did a lot of theatre reviews back then. It was just something to do. I've always loved video editing, and I think that was a big part of it. I loved being able to create something and then edit it and try and make it funny and put something out. It was just something for me to do as a side project as I was doing my studies, as I was working, and I've always kept it up for all these years. And obviously it's only been in the past few years that I've been doing it full time, I suppose you could say, even though I always think it's funny to point out that even when YouTube wasn't my job, I was still spending a lot of time making videos, so I still was putting a lot of work into it. Probably obviously not as much as I do now, because I was doing loads of other things at the time as well. But yeah, I guess that's how I started it. I just always really liked visual videos, visual content, yeah, that's how I started, and I've enjoyed watching YouTube and YouTube grow over the past decade and a bit. And I love watching YouTube as well, so I'm not just a YouTuber, I'm also a YouTube fan. I think I'm going to give you a little bit of a break from me answering questions and talking, because I feel like I've rambled quite a bit, and I thought I would quickly give you a bit of a room tour. So you've kind of seen a little bit of it already. This is the main bed, which is lovely. I love all the mirrors on the back. Very cool touch. You've got obviously a TV as well on this side. You have got a table with some chairs. That's where I was sat when I was answering those earlier questions. You've got a little carpet here. Just ignore that. That's a dead cat. That's a part of my microphone. Normally I would put it on the camera, but because I'm not filming in windy weather, it's okay to film without it. Yeah, there you go. These are the plugs. That's nice that they've got a USB one. I actually only arrived a few hours ago, so I'm only here for one night in Paris. And then they've got a telephone there. What's in there? Oh, actually, I thought that was quite interesting. So in here, they've got not only a Bible or the New Testament, but also the Book of Mormon, which I just think is rather random. And this is actually in English. I mean, considering we're in France, is the Bible also? No, the Bible's in French. The Bible's in French and English. The Book of Mormon is, I think, only in English. So there you go. Also, random lights on the sides. Very chic, very modern. I love it. And you've probably already seen a bit of a glimpse of the view. The view is pretty awesome. The view is awesome. And I did not expect to get such an amazing view when I booked this hotel. But I mean, look at that. And you've got these little areas where you can sit and just like, imagine just, you know, chilling here. I'm just going to do it for the first time. And just like, oh, well, this is amazing. I feel very lucky, honestly. There you go. So you can just have this wonderful view of Paris. I wonder if we can spot the Eiffel Tower. I can see some things over there. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been here long enough to actually check, but it's a pretty good view. It's a pretty good view of Paris. Like I said, the Renaissance Paris Republique Hotel is located only about a 20-minute walk from Gare du Nord station, which is where I travelled to today. Actually, I got the Eurostar from St Pancras to Gare du Nord, and I'm spending, like I said, one night here because tomorrow I'm actually going somewhere that's closer to Paris rather than Disneyland. And there'll be a vlog of that coming up as well, so make sure you subscribe. But yeah, pretty amazing view here. I will come back there and maybe do some questions there. But before I do that, I think I want to show you the bathroom as well. So there you go, that's where I was just at. Very nice, very relaxing. This is the bed again. And then here is actually part of the bathroom. Again, nice design here. It's a slide door. And then you come here, you've got a shower, which is nice. Again, I've only arrived, so I haven't actually used the shower just yet. But it does look nice. Then we've got the sink here as well. I like the vibe of this and this, look. I don't know why, it's just, it seems like a very chic, so I'm just going to turn this off, I don't know why I turned it on, but it's a very chic sink, if you know what I mean. You get towels, of course, you get mouthwash, and then, yeah, another mouthwash over here. And then this I thought was quite cute, so this is the soap that they've given me, there's body lotion as well. The soap is called Tokyo Milk, which I don't think I've ever heard of. But it smells really lovely. And this is it. So no mirror right in front of you. It's a very, like I said, very modern vibe here in this hotel. You do get a mirror here though, and you can adjust it. So it's all good. This is one of those mirrors that really, really magnifies your face. I find those terrifying because who wants to see my face for that big? But yeah, there you go. That's the bathroom area. The toilet is actually separate from the bathroom. So this is the bathroom. And then you can see I've literally just arrived because I haven't even unpacked yet. Like I haven't even opened my suitcase yet. But oh yeah, they also give you slippers, which I always appreciate. And then the toilet is just going to be a toilet here. We're not going to really do much here. But just wanted to show you that the toilet is in a separate area. That's the door. This is where you first walk in from. And we're on the 8th floor, by the way, in case you're wondering. The 8th floor, I think the hotel in total has 9 floors. Might be wrong, but I spotted 9 levels in the lift. It's one of the hotels where you have to put your card in for the lights to work as well. And then here you've got an ironing board, like a little wardrobe area, loads of storage up there too. I'm not gonna need it because I'm only here for a night, but again, nice to see that they have that. Here they've got a coffee making machine, they give you some cups as well, a kettle, and then up here actually you've got some snacks. They let you know that if you need ice you can get them free of charge. What are they? Some Sablés, some biscuits over here, you've got a Toblerone, and I'm pretty sure these are just complimentary, right? You've also got some Pringles. Or I might have these because I'm quite hungry. I might even order some room service later on because I haven't eaten much today. And then down here, well, here we've got just a couple of, I guess, cards, paper with the Renaissance Hotel logo on it. And then here we have the fridge. And the fridge comes well stocked. I don't think I'm going to be using anything from it because I'm not sure if you have to pay extra for it. This is my own thing though. I bought myself coffee and I put it in the fridge as soon as I got here. And then this over here is the safe. I don't understand hotels that don't give you a safe. I know that some just don't. Very budget hotels don't give you safes, but I think it's important to have a safe. I always use it anyway. So yeah, you do get a safe. And then again, it's weird because when you enter, like this is the view that you get when you first come into the room. Just to give you perspective, you come through that door, put my luggage here, that's where the toilet is, and you can like straight away see the sink and like the shower. I mean, I'm just trying to imagine, like, lordy, it's quite an open space actually. So I'm just wondering if I was here with somebody else and I was taking a shower, then everybody could see me, no? Surely. Maybe they've given me this room because it's only me. But yeah, that would not be ideal, would it? If you're here with, like, I don't know, friends, family members, and you just want to take a shower. Oh, never mind. I just spotted you can actually. Right, that makes so much more sense. They've got curtains in there. That's a lot of effort to go through rather than just closing a door. So you can put the curtains down and then nobody can see you. Because otherwise, imagine somebody's taking a shower and then somebody orders room service and like a staff member will literally see you in the shower. I don't know, I'm just putting different scenarios in my head. But yeah, that's more or less it. You've seen the mirror. I think that's where we started this journey. I only travelled here, like I said, like today's my travel day and I'm only here for a night, so if I look a bit of a mess, I do apologise. I am quite tired. And then they also have a couple of artworks here, which is quite nice. Very chic mod. Oh, there, sorry, got distracted, but I just spotted a couple of more USB plugs over there. But yeah, very chic modern room. These water bottles were also provided by the hotel. I'm guessing they're complimentary. They were just on the table when I arrived. I assume I can use them. But yeah, there you go. This is the room. I'm very happy and feel very lucky to be staying here for one night only. And yeah, really lovely. Again, here's another view. I'm probably not going to do much. Like I said, it's about probably close to 8 p.m. at this point, and I don't plan on doing much or going out at the moment. So probably going to take room service probably in the next half an hour. So I'll show you that as well in case you're wondering. This is, like I said, it's nice to do these like chill, relax videos from time to time, because it almost feels like you're just here with me in this hotel on this random evening. It's cool. Let me know in the comments down below, by the way, if you do enjoy these, because if you don't, I will never do a video like this again, because normally my videos are very much planned. I have a purpose to them. This one's just a chill, relax Q&A and a bit of showing you the hotel, and like I said, I'll probably show you the food as well. Hopefully the food will be good, because I am quite hungry. But before we order some room service, I'm going to answer a few more questions. Speaking of hotels, and yes, you can see my dead cat just over there. It's for the mic. Tom E.D. Fox has asked, how are you feeling since the hotel incident? So some of you probably have already seen it, but yeah, I had an incident at a hotel that I was staying at on my last trip here to France, and it's not something I want to talk about again, because every time I remember it and talk about it, it just brings bad memories. It's not something that I want to associate constantly with my videos on my channel and myself. I've worked quite hard over the past month actually to remove myself from the situation a little bit, not think about it as often, because it was very difficult for the first few weeks. It was constantly on my mind. I've been seeking professional help as well, which has definitely helped. I'm feeling better. Like, I spent about a month and a bit at home, which definitely did help, obviously, because I wasn't traveling. And so that was really good. And yeah, I'm hoping that I'll be okay. I think there's definitely some trauma that happened, and it's something that probably will affect me in certain ways at certain times. I mean, even today I noticed that the way I traveled was very different to how I used to, just like getting the train and coming to station, and at the station, all of that, I was just a million times more aware than normal. Even when I was in London, so like I said, I spent about a month and a bit in London. I just needed some time to not travel and just be at home. One evening, I want to say about maybe 3 weeks after the incident happened, I was watching a film with my mum. I wasn't even watching the film. My mum was watching a film and I was just in the living room with her, kind of half watching but also editing at the same time. And there was a bit in this film that my mum was watching where this woman was in this really lovely, like, beautiful, posh hotel, and she'd asked for room service, funnily enough. And like somebody knocked on her door to bring her the room service, and it was like a phenomenal hotel. I don't know where it was set or where it was. I wasn't properly watching the film, but it definitely wasn't the Holiday Inn Express. And when the woman heard the knock on the door and she just went to open the door, my heart sank. Like I had a moment where I suddenly felt sick, and I had to like do a little thing to myself and be like, Sam, it's okay, like it's just a film. But just, this is how trauma works, unfortunately. It's like just kind of, seeing something that is similar to my scenario, a woman opening a door. In the film, turns out it was absolutely fine. This man brought her the food that looked really delicious. It was, like I said, a posh hotel in the movie. Whatever, like, it really wasn't an incident whatsoever. But because, for me, my experience was I opened the door to somebody who I thought I could trust in a hotel where I thought I could trust the situation and the staff members, and yet by me opening the door, everything went wrong. I think that trauma just really scared me. Just a funny little thing that I thought I would bring up. You can see even now, like, when I think about it, when I talk about it, I don't like it. So yes, I'm feeling better. Like I said, I'm trying not to think about it anymore. I'm happy that everything that had to be done about it has been done. The matter is no longer in my hands, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And yeah, it's something that I just want to try and move away from. But I do really appreciate you asking, so thank you so much. Right, the next question is from Yvette Hubrechtse. Yvette, I'm so sorry if I just mispronounced your username completely. I do recognize your name, by the way, Yvette. I just don't know how to pronounce it. But Yvette asks, how are you, dear Samar, and would you go on a Disney cruise again? Firstly, thank you so much. I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, it took a while. I took a month and a bit to just try and refocus my thoughts and feel better, and I surrounded myself with family and friends, which was really helpful. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. And then, would I ever go on a Disney cruise again? Would I consider going on a cruise again? So yes, I would. Those of you who don't know, I've only done one cruise before in my life, and it was the Disney staycation cruises that happened in 2021 in the UK, which didn't actually go anywhere. They just, you got to experience the Disney cruise and stay on there. But it was also like not long after COVID, so it was very much a COVID cruise. You still had to wear masks. A lot of the things weren't as normal, like you couldn't get up close to, characters. A lot of the experiences were modified because of that. But I still enjoyed it, and there's a whole series of that as well. I went with one of my friends from school from back in the days, one of my longest running friends, Arzu. We still had a lovely time, and it was my first time doing a Disney cruise. I thought it would be the perfect way for me to see if I even like cruising, because I'd never been on a cruise before, and I also get motion sick, so I wanted to test that out as well, and thankfully it was fine. I don't know if I will always be fine on a cruise. It was just, obviously, I only have that one experience. But yeah, I would love to experience a proper Disney cruise at some point, like one where you actually get to go somewhere and at least come off the cruise once, and one that doesn't require you to do all these COVID rules now that things are a bit more normal, I suppose, in the world. So yeah, watch this space. It's something that I definitely would like to do, and in fact I may have got one coming up, so hopefully it will be something that you'll see on the channel soon. Anna Andowska asks, is your least favorite land Adventureland in Paris? This just made me laugh because it's not something that I've thought about, but I wonder what made you think that, because I don't think you're wrong. When I'm thinking about it now, Adventureland's definitely the land that I probably spend the least amount of time in when I go to Paris, or Disneyland Paris. My two favourites are probably Fantasyland and Frontierland, obviously not counting Main Street USA, which is my number one favourite spot in Disneyland Paris. But yeah, it's my least favorite land would probably be either Adventureland or Discoveryland. It's one of the two. But I think there's more that I like doing in Discoveryland than there is in Adventureland. So I tend to like visit Discoveryland more often than I visit Adventureland. Adventureland, for me, really, I just like going there and going on Pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride is of course in Adventureland. And that's like the main draw for me. And it's a shame because Adventureland is beautiful. It's a stunning land. Like that, the whole pirate ship that you've got going on, even like the Aladdin section where Agrabah Cafe is. Like, it's a beautiful, beautiful land. But yeah, I don't tend to like go there often unless I have a purpose, which is normally Pirates of the Caribbean, or if I'm eating there, sure. But I don't tend to spend a lot of time in. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you for like asking the question, and please let me know what made you think that. I'm curious. And also, again, if you've been to Disneyland Paris, I would love to know your thoughts, like what your least favorite land is in Disneyland Park. We have a very interesting question from Hooked by Mango. Really funny username as well. And they've asked, would you live in the Disney park of your choice for a month if it were free without leaving? Absolutely. Yeah, of course I would. I'd probably gain a lot of weight because I'd only have Disney food to eat for like an entire month. But yeah, I would do that. Now, which park is what the question actually asks. I feel like I want to be quite strategic with my answer here, because I would want a park that has the most amount of things possible for me to be able to live comfortably for a whole month without leaving it. I think weirdly Epcot is going to have to be the one, which is so weird considering, generally speaking, Epcot's one of my least favorite of the Disney parks. Doesn't mean I don't like it, but it's just not one that I get too excited about. But I think Epcot probably has the most amount of things for you to be able to live in comfortably for a full month. Like, you know, if I'm actually living there, then I'll probably actually end up having the time to try all the food. Because with Epcot, one of my problems with it is that a lot of people tend to love Epcot because of the food festivals, and wow, there's so many snacks that you can get and all the drinks and whatnot. But I'm only one person and I've only got one stomach, and you know, if I'm spending only a couple of days in Epcot, there's no way that I can try all these food items. So I just don't understand, because like, if that's the main draw, you're going to get full eventually, and then what are you going to do with the rest of your day? Like, go on a couple of rides, that's it. You know, it's not like a park that has a lot more going on for it, in my opinion, apart from the food elements. The foods they offer there is obviously phenomenal. So yeah, I'm gonna actually say Epcot. In fact, I want that to happen. Like, Hooked by Mango, can you make that happen for me, please, somehow? Because I would love that. I think I would really enjoy living in Epcot for a whole month. But again, please leave a comment down below with your answers to this question. I would love to hear your thoughts. Beatrice asks, what's your favourite food, season and colour? Favourite food? That's quite hard, because I'm a foodie. I very much love any food, really. So favourite food, probably, like, generally speaking, Iranian dishes, like Middle Eastern food, but in particular Persian Iranian dishes are my favorite cuisine. But then I also love a good burger, steak and chips, like things like that I do enjoy as well. Japanese cuisine I love. So if I actually were to like give you some of my favorite cuisines rather than one favorite food, I'd probably say Persian first, second would probably be Indian, third would be Japanese. Like, these three cuisines are like the ones that I get excited about the most, because I think they have the most amount of flavor, particularly Iranian and Indian. They're just full of flavor, and I love flavor. But like I said, I do also enjoy just like a burger and fries as well from time to time. So yeah, very difficult question. But what was the second question? What's my favorite season? My favorite season is autumn. I generally prefer the seasons that are the changing seasons to like the solid ones. So the way my brain works, I like to call summer and winter like solid seasons, because like summer's very much summer. You're bang in the middle of the summer. It's hot, you know, school holidays, etc. My birthday's in the summer. Fun fact, my birthday's coming up very soon, 29th of July, in case you guys care. But yeah, and then winter's obviously the opposite. It's very cold. You've got Christmas, it's winter, it's dark. And I love those seasons as well, don't get me wrong. But the changing seasons, I just find it's just something about spring and autumn in particular that I find really beautiful. Like those like days where, you know, gradually the days are getting longer, for instance in spring, and the weather's gradually getting warmer as well, and then the opposite of that again in autumn, which is my favorite season, when you gradually start to notice it getting darker a little bit earlier, and then the weather's getting cooler, and then the leaves are falling, and then the colors of the trees and the leaves are so beautiful. And I don't know, there's just something about those months that gives me energy, like it excites me. I feel like I'm just waiting for something, whereas I think winter and summer are what we've been waiting for. Spring and autumn are like the waiting seasons. I don't know, maybe it doesn't make sense to you, but this is how I see it. So autumn is my favorite season, and my favorite color is blue. I have changed positions because I thought you were probably going to get bored soon of just my face on the bed, so I'm now chilling by the window. I'm going to answer a couple of more questions, and then I'm probably going to get myself some food or order food, and then I'll try and maybe answer a few more. I don't want this video to be too long. I feel like it already is quite long though. But anyway, Eve Watts asks, if you could only choose one, Goofy or Woody? Now this is a difficult question because I love Woody and I love Goofy. Goofy is just so silly, like he's so fun to meet in the parks, and there's something about him that I find charming, like his goofiness. Even though it can be quite off-putting to a lot of people, there's something about it I do quite like. But Woody, his loyalty, I love that. I think in a man, if I were looking at qualities that I like in a man, I would probably go for Woody. Woody's got more qualities that I enjoy, but they're both so good looking, aren't they? I'm sorry this was such a weird answer, but yes, to answer it properly, Woody. I think if I had to choose, then Woody over Goofy, but I feel bad. Goofy, I hope you're not out there somewhere and you didn't hear what I just said. Don't worry, I still love you. Anyway, jokes aside, the next question is from Georgia Rice, and it's a very lovely question again, Georgia, thank you. They ask, how is your mum getting on since her terrible ordeal? So again, some of you may know, some of you may not, but my mum was in a terrible hit and run accident at the beginning of this year, in January of 2023. It was awful. Like, it was one of those situations where, you know, she did everything right. The light was green for her. She was going to cross the road, and somebody on an electric bike literally just hit her straight into her legs, broke the legs quite badly, shattered. Obviously she was quite traumatized from it, so was I. We had she had a 2-week hospital stay. I stayed with her for as long as I could. The first 3 nights I wasn't allowed, but then after the surgery they actually allowed me to stay overnight with her because she was in a very vulnerable situation. So yeah, it was awful, but obviously this was in January. We are in July now, and I really do appreciate you asking. She's doing better. It's a long recovery journey, unfortunately, and she still has to see her surgeon once every 2 months now. It's become, it used to be once every month she'd have to go and visit the surgeon again just to see how it's going, take x-rays. But at least she's starting to gain her independence back a little bit, so she's now able to walk again with crutches. I am so proud of her. She's put so much effort into this. It was just really hard and difficult seeing her in that situation. My mom's a very independent woman, and for her to suddenly need help for everything, the littlest of things, like if she wanted water, she couldn't walk, she couldn't move for the first couple of months after her surgery, and I was her main carer, and it was difficult. I was, more than anything, the actual physicality of it wasn't that difficult, but the thing that pained me the most was actually seeing her in that state. It was very, very hard for both of us, but like I said, things are going better now. We actually went to her surgeon a few days ago to kind of get a checkup, and he's pretty happy with how things are healing, although he has said that he will need to do another surgery on my mum eventually, which is sad because who wants more surgeries at the end of the day? But some of the hardware that they've put in my mum's legs are not doing what they need to do, kind of thing. So there's a screw in my mum's leg, in case you really care. There's a few screws actually, and one of them is popping out a little bit, and so the surgeon will need to eventually take it out. So it's just really sad to think about how one person's mistake, one person just not bothering to look, one person actually disobeying the rules, because the cyclist who hit my mum did it when the light was obviously red for him. So I think he probably just thought, oh, I'm just on a bike, surely it'll be fine. It was Saturday afternoon, he just didn't look, and he hit my mum, who was had just gone to the supermarket to get some milk. Like, and yet with that, because of that mistake, and it was a hit and run accident as well, so he ran away and the police didn't do anything. Because of that, my mom's life has been affected for a while. Like, it's been 6 months and she's still having trouble with some things, and it's not like she can walk as easily as she used to be. We don't even know if she ever will be able to, and the place that she's at right now has only become possible because of herself. Like, she's put so much work into it. Obviously she has a physiotherapist, a great physiotherapist as well, so big shout out to her. But you know, if she didn't put the work in, she wouldn't be able to get to where she is. So I'm really proud of her. Again, I'm so sorry if nobody cared about this, but somebody did ask, so I thought I would answer this. I know that sometimes when it comes to my personal life, it's not something that everybody cares about. A lot of you watch these videos for like Disney and traveling and fun things, but I do appreciate you asking, Georgia, and to answer it in short now, she's doing better. Thank you. Going from that now to a Disney question, Julie Hardy 1983 asks, what excites you the most when you arrive at DLP even after all your visits? That's such a good question, and one that made me think quite a bit, because the truth is I don't necessarily get excited about going to Disneyland Paris anymore because I obviously visit so often. I'm very, very lucky that I get to go to Disneyland Paris as a job. Like, who would have thought that? So, you know, the excitement feeling isn't necessarily always there, but I'm always excited about something. So quite often there might be, I don't know, a new show, a new event, a new parade, a new snack even. It's the little bits, little pieces of news, new things that come that genuinely, I guess, excite me, because I'm always curious to see what Disneyland Paris does with the parks, because I really truly love the parks, both of them. The resort as a whole, I just love Disneyland Paris. It means so much to me that I always wanted to do better. So I think that's the excitement for it, just to kind of see how it's doing, what the new things are that are coming about. But also, whilst I don't necessarily feel excited when I come to Disneyland Paris anymore, I do still feel very, very happy. So like, whenever I'm in the parks, I just feel so content, because how can you not? How can you be in Main Street USA and not feel some kind of happiness? I mean, don't get me wrong, there will be times when I'm tired, there will be times when I just might have a headache and not feel my best when I'm in the parks. That's just normal. I think all of us experience that, even those of us who go to Disney on a holiday rather than to do vlogs like I do. But for the most part, I just feel very lucky when I'm there. It's like that really weird feeling where as soon as I step out of Mahla Valley Station, which is a station outside Disneyland Paris, I just feel this, like, normally I come out and I just kind of take a deep breath and just think, how is this my life, to be fair? Like, that's kind of the how I feel about it. Rather than getting excited, it's more an appreciation these days when it comes to Disneyland Paris. But if I'm coming to Disneyland Paris with like a friend that I've not been to before, or if it's somebody's first time, or if I'm doing something unique, then the excitement definitely comes back, which is awesome. Brendy De Kaiser asks, at one point in your life did you start frequently visiting Disneyland Paris? What you like most about it? What do I like most about it? Truly just being there. I think the feeling of just being in an environment where I'm around other people who love Disney so much, and not just Disney, but who love this element of imagination, of magic, of just letting yourself go. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that, I just got a little text, but I think that's my favourite part about being in any Disney park, to be fair. And when did I start going often? Well, I got an annual pass, my very first Disneyland Paris annual pass I got in 2015, which is at this point nearly a decade ago, 8 years ago to be completely accurate. But yeah, 8 years ago is when I got my very first annual pass, and I've been renewing that same annual pass since. So since then I have been an annual pass member, and you know, when you do have an annual pass, it just makes sense to make the most of it, obviously. So I guess since 2015 is when I started going frequently. But even before that, I think 2013 and 14, I had some friends who were living in London at the time and were big Disney fans, and we did go quite a few times, but not with an annual pass. And I think that's what made us all kind of think, oh, maybe we should get ourselves annual passes, because we spent 2014 and 2013 going maybe like 3 times per year, and then we were both like, it just makes sense. Like, I used to be very against annual passes, because I used to be of the mindset that, you know, a Disney experience can only be magical if you stay on site. And if you have an annual pass, you're not going to be staying on site. Like, sometimes you might if you get a nice deal, but you know, the annual passes, really the point of them is that they can go more often, but in a more cheap way. So yeah, that's why it took me a while to get an annual pass, but that's another story for another time. I can talk about that one day if you guys want me to, about my first annual pass and why I chose it and why I thought of it and all of that. I did not know that you could send videos in these Instagram photo things, but somebody sent me a video, so I'm just gonna watch it very quickly. Let me see if my audio's up. Yeah, we'll play it together.
Where the hell are you right now? Please, I'm in Disneyland Paris right now. I'm actually leaving soon. Please just tell me, where are you? Because I want to see you. You're my dream. Please.
I feel really bad because I wasn't in Disneyland Paris last night when they sent me this video, and I'm still not in Disneyland Paris. So I'm so sorry that I missed you. I hope you had an amazing time though. It's meh_Maya B. I hope I pronounced your name right. I think your name is Maya. So thank you so much for your lovely video, and I hope you had an amazing time. Thank you for the support. Maybe I'll bump into you at some point in the park. Speaking of that, we've got a question from ERSK89, ERSK89, and they've asked, ever consider doing a meet and greet or group park day? I would really like to do that. I just really don't know logistically how I would go about it, to be honest. I don't think it's something that I can do easily in a Disney park, because it's just not really fair to other guests. Like, if, you know, there's a crowd of us suddenly, if I do a meet and greet and just kind of announce it to the world, it's not something that I think I want to kind of make happen in a Disney park. I just don't think it's fair on other guests who just want to have a normal day. They just don't want a big crowd of people. You know, whilst I would love it, it would be nice to meet you all in Disney, I just don't think it's the best way to go about it. So maybe if I were to do one, it would be somewhere that's not in Disney. So I've only ever done one meet and greet before, like a group event, and it was years and years ago. It was when my channel was much smaller than it is now, and quite a few of you did show up, and it was lovely. We spent a few hours together. It was in Leicester Square. It was, I think, around like Christmas time, if I'm not misremembering. So maybe, I mean, leave your ideas down below, and if I can think of some, you know, a way to make it possible, then I will. Bonsoir, vous faisiez le room service? Pour le menu, on peut le trouver où? Sur la télé. Ah, d'accord, merci. Donc je vais vous retéléphoner dans 15 minutes. Merci beaucoup. Merci, au revoir. I'm really hungry, so I want to order my food. It's currently about 8:30 p.m. and all I've had today is a croissant, which was a good croissant, by the way. I got it at the station earlier today, before I left London. But I do want food, and I couldn't find the menu anywhere in the room. So like, they've got this here, which I spotted, but it's only for breakfast. So this is like, if you want to order breakfast so that it's ready for you in your room, you can do that. But I don't want breakfast. I won't need it tomorrow either. And I literally checked everywhere and I couldn't find the menu. So I called reception to see where it is, and they said it's on the TV. So we'll go and have a look, actually, because that's interesting. A room service menu that is literally going to be on the telly here. Let's have a look. We're gonna go down, press reader, connect my device, internet, weather, room service. There you go. How technologically advanced is this? The breakfast is from 6:30 to 10:30 a.m. by the way, in case you do end up coming to this hotel and we wanted to know. And then all day room service menu from 12 to 11. How exciting. Right, so that's actually going to be easy for me to show you the menu, to share or not. I love it. They got some cold meats platter, spicy guacamole, cheese platter, and then octopus duo for 28 euros, Caesar salad, chicken cheeseburger, that sounds good, black fish burger, friends board, which is octopus, salad, guacamole, chicken wings, vegetable fritters, some fries. That actually sounds quite good as well. And then they've got the nighttime menu, which is more like, I guess, less extravagant. So they've got some risottos, some pennes, desserts, etc. Then if you're wondering about drinks as well, you have some here. They've got some wines. Yeah, not bad. I don't think the prices are too bad either. I mean, the Dom Perignon over here definitely is expensive at 390 euros, but that's for a full bottle, and I'm not going to be drinking anyway. But the food prices are not too bad from my understanding. Like, considering we're staying at a pretty well-known, like, I think it's a 4-star hotel, the prices aren't bad. So I'm just going to have a look and try and decide what I want to order, ring them back up, and I'll get back to you. I just rang back the lovely receptionist downstairs and ordered my room service. I am so excited for it. feel free to guess what you think I got. I did get myself a starter and a main course, so hopefully both should be good because I'm very hungry. But whilst we wait, it's currently 8:45 p.m. I wonder how long it's going to take for them to bring it up. I'm guessing probably about 20 minutes, half an hour max. So we've still got a bit more time to do a couple of more questions. And thank you so much, by the way, if you've watched so far. I recognise that this is quite a long video. But the next question is from Romain 2410 CRT, Roma, I presume. And they've asked, how did you learn to speak French that well? Firstly, thank you so much. That means a lot. I learned French when I was a child. So I was born in Switzerland and the French speaking part of Switzerland. And so, believe it or not, I learned to speak French before I even learned English. I know that might sound very strange. It's weird for me to even think about now because obviously I think of English as almost my first language now, even though it wasn't my first language. My first language, my mother tongue, if you will, is Persian. But because obviously I live in the UK now and I went to university in English, you know, I worked in English, my English is basically on par with Persian, if not in some aspects even better, even though I speak Persian at home still. I spend most of my days, my professional days, you know, with anybody else, I speak in English. So yeah, I went off on a tangent just then, but French I learned as a child, and you know, I was very lucky because when you are a child, you do learn better, I think, you know, I don't know why, but it's just how it is. And so I was forced into learning French, really. I spent the first 7-8 years of my life in, like I said, Switzerland, and I had no choice but to learn it. And it was difficult because obviously at home we would speak Persian, and a lot of the TV shows that I would watch were in English. So like I was a big fan of Barney the Dinosaur and Sesame Street and things like that. Those were like the cartoons that I grew up watching as a child, and they were in English, and I think that's how I kind of started to learn a bit of English, although obviously my English back then was nowhere near as good as it is now. But with French, I had to go to school, I had to go to nursery, like my everyday life out and about was in French. Like if I went to a playground, if we went to the park and I happened to speak to another child, like I'd have to speak French to them, and that's how I learned it. But then obviously that was just the basic stuff with French, like that was the beginning of my French journey. After that, when I left Switzerland, I still wanted to pursue French, so I did take lessons in French for a few years after, just to make sure I could keep it up. And then it got to a point where I thought, I don't feel like I need to learn French anymore. And that's a mistake that many people do. And I probably made this mistake when I was about 9-10, about a year and a bit after we left Switzerland. I was like, you know what, I feel really bored in these French lessons. I definitely was the best student in the class because most of the other students hadn't, I guess, grown up in a French speaking country, so they were kind of learning from scratch, whereas I already knew a lot. So it got to a point where I was like, you know, I just don't feel like I need to go to these lessons anymore, and I stopped. And I had about 8 years of not, you know, actively learning French, not actively being involved with the French language because I wasn't living in Switzerland anymore, and I didn't have, you know, I wasn't talking to people in French anymore on a regular basis. And whilst I still tried to stay in touch with some of my friends from Switzerland, this was in the days where there wasn't Facebook or MySpace or any sort of thing like that. The internet really wasn't that big back then, and even if it wasn't like I was old enough to go on it. So, you know, I just stopped thinking or speaking French for a while. And that's a shame. I wish I hadn't done that, because for a period of time, it's not that I forgot the French, but you know, when you don't speak it, you do lose your confidence with it and kind of the natural ability to speak it as well as you used to. And that was the case for me until I had to do my A-levels, and I did my A-levels in just 1 year. So AS and A-levels in 1 year, which normally you do them in 2 years, and that's a whole other story in itself, which maybe one day I'll share if anybody cares. But yeah, when I did my A-levels, because I had to do them in 1 year only, I wanted one of the subjects to be something that, number one, I'm really interested in, like, and also one that I already have some knowledge on, you know, because it's not easy doing A-levels in 1 year, guys. Anybody who's done your A-levels, you probably can confirm it's not easy. And so I took up French. French was one of the subjects that I did for my A-levels. And it was difficult, even though I already spoke French and I literally lived in a French-speaking country for like 7-8 years of my life as a child. Doing the French A-levels and suddenly having to actually write essays in French, and, you know, debate in French, like do a presentation in French, was very different to me just speaking French as a child to my friends at school. So that kind of helped me learn a lot more. And then, yeah, you know, coming to Disneyland Paris in France often has forced me. I didn't used to. So when I first started coming to Disneyland Paris, normally I would come with friends, and even if I didn't come with friends, I would just switch to English, because in Disneyland Paris most people understand English and they can speak English, and it's obviously easier for me. And then it got to a point where I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm stupid. Like, it's ridiculous. Why am I not speaking French? I've got this opportunity. I need to practice it. So why am I being lazy? And so for the past, I want to say 6, 7, 8 years, I've been sticking to French only when I come to France. Unless I'm with friends, obviously. If I'm with a friend who doesn't speak French, then it's going to be rude for me to just suddenly speak French to like a cast member or somebody, and kind of exclude my friend who doesn't understand it. Do you know what I mean? But if I'm on my own, I speak French, and I think that's been the best practice for me, because nothing beats actually physically speaking to people. You can do Duolingo as much as you want, you can listen to podcasts as much as you want, you can watch videos in French as much as you want, but the actual physical act of speaking a language, and I'm obviously speaking about French, but it goes with any language, is never gonna actually kind of come naturally to you unless you keep doing it. So if you're learning a language, I would recommend, and this is something that I do as well with German, because I'm still in the process of learning German, sometimes just speak to yourself, like at home. You don't have to speak to somebody if you don't have somebody in your life that speaks that language. Just speak to yourself, but speak out loud. Like, pretend that you're speaking to somebody. I know it's weird, but it's the only way, trust me, to get your conversational skills better. And also, don't be afraid to put yourself in scenarios. And this is, like, for me, again, one of the biggest language tips. I know this is not what you asked, but we've now gone on the tangent again. But one of my biggest number one language learning tips is to put yourself in difficult, challenging situations. So for instance, if you're just starting to learn Spanish and you go to Spain and you meet a bunch of people that speak Spanish, and they probably understand English as well, and they could speak English to you, but their main language is Spanish. Instead of switching to English, just go with the Spanish. Even if your Spanish isn't great, even though you probably will make mistakes, because that's only natural, stick to the Spanish. Like, converse in Spanish with them, and don't let yourself go to English at all. And that's the way you'll force yourself to learn eventually. Well, would you look at that? My room service has arrived and it looks beautiful. We've got some fries with the chicken burger that I decided to go for as my main. It's the chicken thigh as well. Love it. They've got me some mayonnaise as well. Only one ketchup, which I won't even use, but we've got two mayos and one mustard. Love the mayos, obviously. Some salad on the side, got my apple juice, and then you can see the nice cutlery set here. And then for my entree, which is of course my starter, I decided to try the vegetable fritters, I think is what they were called. Didn't expect them to arrive like this. They literally almost look like chicken nuggets, don't they? But no, they were vegetable fritters with a sweet chili sauce. So this is a vegetarian option, actually, in case you are vegetarian and you want to come and stay here. That's one of the veggie starters, and this is of course not vegetarian, but yeah, there you go. You can kind of see how big the bed is too. It's still light outside. It is starting to set though, the sun. You can see the time. We are now, oh, well, this is actually, it's meant to be 9 p.m. because my watch is still at UK time. If I get my phone out, you can see it is 9 p.m, which is not bad. Still light outside though. I'm gonna go and eat this and then maybe answer a few more questions afterwards. Bon appetit. Smells good. This is a very weird clip. Anyway, I'll speak to you in like, I don't know, half an hour. I'm gonna watch some like videos on YouTube because I love YouTube. I'm gonna watch some YouTubers, eat my food, and then I'll get some more answers.
20 minutes later.
Well, that was delicious. That was truly a wonderful dinner. The chicken burger was great. The chicken itself was so nicely cooked, so juicy as well, which I love. I like the fact that it was chicken thighs rather than breast. Just gives it more flavor. And then those like vegetable fritters as well. There was 3 of them, but they were quite big, and so I'm very full now, but they were delicious, like really good. Even the sweet chili sauce was lovely. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. But I want to maybe reply to a few more questions before we end the video, and Yes, I do have Quincy from Always here. I was watching one of their videos, their latest video from today, 20 things you must do in Disney's Animal Kingdom, one of my favorite theme parks. But before I continue watching that, I thought I would reply to a few more questions. So Paris Cook _ asks, what is your favorite Disneyland park you have been to? Florida, Paris, Tokyo, California, Hong Kong. Now I've actually not been to Tokyo yet, so I can't include that in this list, but Florida, Paris, California, Hong Kong, I've done Shanghai as well, and it's a difficult one, but my favorite one I think will always be Disneyland Paris. And whilst there's many actual logical reasons why I do love Paris the most, and I've made a whole video about why I prefer it to Disney World. I'll leave the link down below if you want to check it out. It's from a few years ago, but I think a big part of it is because Disneyland Paris is the Disney park that I got to go to as a child. I never got to go to the American parks when I was younger. In fact, my very first international Disney park, which was Disney World, happened in 2015 when I was about 24 years old. So, you know, I associate Disneyland and kind of those fun memories with Disneyland Paris. So that's definitely a main reason as to why Disneyland Paris will always be my favorite, the main park, Disneyland Park in Paris. But if I'm speaking about other ones, like if I had to choose a second favorite, then it would probably be Disneyland, the original Disneyland, the 1955 Disneyland in Anaheim, California. I just love it. There's just something about that park, and honestly even California Adventure, but specifically the main original Disneyland, that just, I love spending time there, and I wish I could like be there more often. I wish it wasn't so far away, because yeah, it's just being there is just, I don't know, it's just so special, and it's something that I can't really explain. Maybe one day I'll be able to like put words into it, but Disneyland California is probably my second favorite. And to go with that, it's a nice transition actually. Ams_Dylan asked, would you ever consider living next to any Disney theme park in the future? I don't think so, but if I could, the Disney theme park that I would like to live close to would be Disneyland Anaheim. Like, absolutely. Like, I feel like Disneyland and California Adventure are very much both almost designed for locals, and they do have more locals than any other of the Disney parks. And so because of that, I feel like living next to it would be the most enjoyable, because there's always something new there, and it's just wonderful. Speaking of California, Sarita Cahill asks, love your videos, going in September to California, one ride I can't miss. Firstly, Sarita, I hope you have an amazing time. I'm so excited for you, and September's a really good time to go to California actually. The first time I went to Disneyland California was in September of 2016, quite a while ago now. But one ride that you cannot miss, in my opinion, in the main park, in Disneyland Park, is Indiana Jones. Their version of Indiana Jones. You might think it's the same as the Disneyland Paris one. No, it's just so much better. It's a really, really good ride. I love it anyway, especially if you like thrill rides. If you've been to Disney World, it's similar to Dinosaur and Animal Kingdom, but it's one of my favorite rides. Also, It's a Small World in Disneyland Park in California is so much better than the Florida one, so maybe go on that one. I feel like it's definitely one that you shouldn't miss. And then in the other park, in California Adventure, if you love thrills, again, I don't know if you like roller coaster or not, but if you enjoy thrills, then absolutely the Incredicoaster is such a fun roller coaster. I would say it's probably my favorite Disney coaster ever. It's just so fun. So those two, Incredicoaster and then Indiana Jones in the main park. Chris Disney Chatter has asked, what would be to you a very special interaction you had with a YouTube subscriber, please? That's a very lovely question actually. I love meeting you guys. I mean, whenever I'm in the park, especially in Disneyland Paris, if any of you guys come up to me, it truly puts a smile on my face. It just like re-energizes me. If I'm, if I've just finished filming a vlog and then I meet you in the middle, and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm just excited to continue doing what I do, and you're always so kind. So feel free to stop me if you ever see me in the parks. I will just say that if you see me in the middle of vlogging, then if you could wait a little bit and kind of come up to me once I've stopped filming and I've put the camera away, it just makes my life a bit easier, because sometimes if you kind of come up to me in the middle of me like saying a sentence about something, it could just mean that I have to then go back and try and say the whole thing again, which just causes a bit more work. But otherwise, I absolutely love meeting you guys, and I've had so many beautiful, wonderful interactions with you over the years. I think a few that pop into mind, like one specifically happened, I think, in the summer of last year, if I remember correctly, and I was in Disney Village. I think I was on the way to the parks or something, I'm not sure exactly, but this lovely lady came up to me and said that she watches my videos, and she had 2 children with her, and she said that, like, I nearly started crying because it was such a kind, like, it just was, my interaction with her basically was very moving for me, because she said that she really appreciates the vlogs, and that because of my Disneyland Paris vlogs, she felt comfortable enough and confident enough to bring her 2 children to the parks. She said both of her children had some kind of disabilities. I'm not sure why, obviously we didn't go into it, but she said that she never thought she would feel confident to be able to bring both of her children to the parks, especially on her own, but that my videos had helped her do that. She said, like, even little things that I point out in videos, like where the toilets are, like, she specifically said that. She said it's helped her plan out her journey and have a wonderful trip. And it was just like that. I remember after that interaction ended, I like immediately called my mom and I was like, Mom, like, I want to cry. That was such a beautiful interaction. It just meant a lot to me, because it's like, I don't think about these things sometimes. I'm just going about doing my vlogs, you know, trying to bring you the magic of Disney. But then sometimes you get interactions like that and you realize how much you can actually affect somebody's life. And that meant so much to me, and that her children were so lovely. And it was just a nice chat with her. I had another similar interaction a couple of years before that, with another lady who, she was in the parks with her like teenager son, and the son didn't really know who I was, he didn't care, but the mom, I guess, watched my videos, and like, I'm pretty sure she nearly started crying. Like, she was like, yeah, like, you've really helped us in a very difficult time, your videos have helped, etc. And again, like, it was a very beautiful, touching moment, and I spent quite a bit of time with her just listening and saying thank you so much. And it was just, yeah, I think you can kind of get the gist. So I've had moments like that a lot. Obviously, I just named 2 that popped into my mind right now, but there's been so many other ones, and so many like more fun ones as well, like ones that have just been maybe really funny, like a funny interaction might have happened that's like been memorable. But I don't want to make this video too long. If you would like to, maybe one day I can just make a whole video about some of the fun memories I have meeting you guys in the parks. Linda Van Mill _ asks, do you have any theatre visits planned? If yes, which shows? Yes. Well, I don't have them booked yet. Some I do, but I really want to go and see the Wizard of Oz, the new production at the Palladium, because one of my favourite performers, Diane Pilkington, is in it. So I'm just really curious to see what they've done with it. I do want to go back to Wicked to see Alexia Kadim, and it's been so long since I obviously got to see her in that role, and it's so cool that she's back now. So I would quite like to go back to Wicked at some point. SpongeBob the Musical I'm very intrigued about, so that's coming to London soon, so hopefully I'll get a chance to go and see that. And then I also really want to go and see Oklahoma. Like, I was chatting to one of my friends about this, Rebecca. I saw her not long ago, and we're chatting all things theatre. And Oklahoma, just, there's a new production of it that sounds really nice and crazy for you as well. So there's quite a lot of theatre shows in London, specifically, that I'm very intrigued to see, hopefully. Just depends on when I'll get a chance to go and see them, but hopefully I will get to see them. And if you want to see my theatre visits, definitely follow me on Instagram, because whilst I might sometimes vlog them, for the most part I tend to just put those on Instagram stories. It's starting to get dark. Still not fully dark yet, and it's 10 p.m. I love France in the summer, it's just awesome. Anyway, I've got a question from Hayley Recovers. Shout out to Hayley, she's been a subscriber to my channel for a long time. And Hayley asks, do you have any plans to go to Tokyo? I know your trip got cancelled in COVID. So again, some of you may not know this if you're a newer subscriber to the channel, I did have a trip booked to Tokyo and Japan in May of 2020 actually, and as you can imagine, alongside many other people's trips, that also got cancelled, of course, because of the pandemic. And yeah, since then I've been trying to figure out when I can reschedule it to. Obviously for a while it was difficult to even go to Asia because of restrictions with COVID and whatnot, but Japan, I believe, has been open for about a year now to tourists, and it's definitely something that I'm hoping to do soon. In fact, that was a terrible wink, but you saw a wink nonetheless. So yeah, hopefully soon. Look at the sunset. It is beautiful. Anyway, I did want to show you some of the questions that some of my friends have sent me, which I'm probably not going to answer, but this is my brother thinking it's hilarious. What brand toothbrush do you use? He's asked shoe size. What's the meaning of life? Why did the skeleton not go to the ball? These are all inside jokes, but why did the skeleton not go to the ball? Because he didn't have anybody to go with. Ha ha ha. That's a joke for you. My friend Frankie's asked, have you decided on which mayo actually is your favourite? Yeah, that's a difficult one, but Heinz is definitely up there. I think I definitely do prefer Heinz to Hellmann's these days. Thanks to my friend Frankie for sending me a Heinz bottle a few years ago. And my friend Hannah's asked, who's your favourite teddy bear? Of course it's Mr. Snuggles, of course. Disney Godmother's asked, what's your first memory? That's actually a good question. My first Disney memory. That's a hard one. I'll have to think about that. And then Mr. Anthward, my friend Anthony, who you all absolutely loved in my Disneyland Paris April vlogs, has asked who was the best person to spend Disney with between April 25th and April 28th. I wonder. That's a hard question. I'm only joking, Anthony. I had such a good time with Anthony on that trip, and hopefully we'll be doing some more travels at some point. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for the questions now, because it's getting dark. I've been literally answering questions for the past few hours now, and there were so many more that I didn't manage to get to, so I do apologize. But leave a comment down below and let me know if you do enjoy videos like this from time to time. I'm aware that it's not everyone's thing. Like I said, some people really do not care about my opinions on things. They just want to see the parks, and I completely get that. But some of you clearly do have some questions that you would like me to answer, and the last one I did in this format, like the last Q&A that I did on my channel, was I think from October of 2022, so over half a year ago at this point. I will actually leave the link to that video down below in case you guys haven't watched it. It's a video where I filmed in the Halloween season in Disneyland Paris, and I walked around the Lake Disney, went to all the Disneyland hotels, and then answered some questions in each of them. So definitely check that out, because quite a lot of the questions that I got asked this time were questions that I had already answered, which I understand. It happens. There might be some new viewers who may not have watched that video, or just, you know, didn't even know that video existed. And what I try to do in my videos is to not repeat myself constantly, because it's also boring if I constantly am answering the same questions in every Q&A. So I have some Q&As on my channel. If you just literally type Q&As, you can find any Q&A that I've done throughout my life on YouTube. And if you're interested, you know, you might find your questions answered a while ago. So yeah, feel free to watch that after this. And then, yeah, please do let me know if you would like me to do more of these in the future. They take a long time to edit, so I would actually appreciate you giving this video a like if you did like it as well, because it does help out, because I put a lot of, you know, work and time into editing these videos. Because as you can imagine, when I'm receiving all these questions and when I'm editing them, I like to actually put the questions up on screen. Like, I like to, you know, I want you guys to be able to see the questions. It's easier rather than just me reading them out and not actually showing them to you. I know a lot of YouTubers just do it that way, but I think it makes more sense for you guys to be able to actually see the questions as well. And that is the part that not only takes quite a long time, it's also quite mundane. Like, I love editing, but just putting like questions up and stuff and having to like make it all work with the timelines and time frames and etc., that just isn't that fun of an editing job. So I would appreciate you giving this video a like if you enjoyed it. Before I love you and leave you, I do want to go and have a look through the window again. Look at that. Look at the sky. I love the clouds. No, there's a wire hanging off there. That's interesting. But yeah, you can see the lights are on now. I guess there's a restaurant downstairs. Considering how good the food was, I would be curious to come back here and maybe actually go downstairs to the bar or the restaurant. But yeah, well, there you go. This is Paris in July of 2023, and this is the Renaissance Paris Republique Hotel, in case any of you guys are interested and would like to maybe book yourself this same room. Before I end this video, I do want to give a big shout out and thank you to you guys, because so many of these questions were just like really lovely, kind questions, asking me how I'm doing, asking about my mom, just asking about myself. And some of it wasn't even like questions. A lot of you guys just left comments saying that you love my videos, and it just means a lot. I'll put an example here from Jenny, whose like comment just made my heart happy. You know, as you can see, the question just says, why are you so wholesome? And I'm wholesome because you guys are wholesome, and I love that we have a community here on YouTube of people who are wholesome, who want to lift each other up. Like, this is what I love about YouTube. We're all people who love Disney. A lot of us love theatre as well, and we're here together. We can chat about it, we can enjoy it, we can share our love for it together and also be kind to each other. It's awesome. So thank you so much. That's one of the main reasons I love doing what I do, and I have talked a lot now. I want to try and get some sleep because I've got an early morning tomorrow, and like I said, make sure you subscribe if you want to see my adventure. Tomorrow I'm going to a theme park that I've never been to before. I'm very excited to discover it for the first time. So with that being said, I am going to love you and leave you. Thank you to this lovely view, thank you to you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.